Look at this lake. If this doesn't have a magnetic pull to you, go get your soul checked. Yes, there's just something about this lake that is magnetic. I did save 3 dragonflies. I don't know what you did today. It's probably something way more fabulous, but hey, I saved 3 dragonflies, and that was a challenging day for me. I got my hands wet. I don't know. Okay, it's day 2 of the Because on Board bus trip out here in Pogradec, and a little late getting up, so about 9. Horsey out here beat me to the flowers, but I don't know if you're seeing all these little flowers. They're everywhere out there, and bees. It's just a buzz of activity. But the lake is beautiful. Had some administrative stuff to do, so drama from yesterday is done and gone. I'm going to stay at the place I'm in one more night, and then I'm back on schedule, onto Korcha, and then hopefully straight to Saranda. If not, I'll drop into Triana, and then I may not go to Saranda before I leave the country. I'm gonna flee Albania, but it's a beautiful morning. I'm about 20 minutes behind my schedule, so I gotta walk fast, but I'm gonna head down the boulevard here, or the promenade, the walkway, whatever you want to call it. It's just beautiful in the morning. Just beautiful. I did see sunrise this morning over the mountain. Have a nice little balcony. It's not waterfront, but it is wonderful. But yeah, it's just a beautiful day. Yeah, the sun rose right over these mountains. Just fabulous. Just fabulous. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty excited about life right now. Life is pretty good. But yeah, I don't like being pressured to walk late, and that's my own fault. The only downside was, I don't know if I just had to let the water run longer, but there was no hot water this morning, and I was just not strong enough to brave that ice cold water. It did get cold last night. Dogs woke me up, but it's the first week of May, and it was really cold, really cold. So anyway, I'll snap back in when I find something exciting to share with you. Well, that was quick. See all these birds? I was out here a couple years ago, and I was just stunned how low they fly to the water, or to the ground, excuse me. They just skim the ground. There's no fear of cats or anything. You're probably not going to catch them on this little camera, but they just skim the top of the grass with no fear. Or I'm sure they're fearful, but it's just amazing to me how they, I don't know. To me, birds like this were always high in the air. They never got low. But they are so fast and so cool. I was wondering, last time I was here, I was wondering if I stood still, if they'd fly through my legs. They were that low. It was just the funniest thing. But I gotta keep walking, So I made some good time walking. I got a few seconds here, but this is the king eel. Now this talks about it being a symbol of a dragon fragment, wearing soldier's belt buckle, historical museum in Triana. I was in the historical museum in Triana not long ago, and I didn't see this item, but I will definitely go back and look again, because I didn't film in there. I really want to film that, even if it's just for me. But I love this symbol. I think it's cool. Now the gentleman I was speaking to yesterday was telling me that this king eel, before they put up the dams for hydropower, would migrate to the ocean, lay its babies, die, and then the babies would come back just like a king salmon. So it's pretty interesting to me. And then right here was the cafe I loved. You can still see some signs and lights, and they put a motorcycle in the tree. Not really sure what that is, but yeah, I miss this cafe. The gentleman here was so nice. It's right across from the Sherlock Cafe or bar or resto, whatever this is, but Sherlock, and I just love this place, right? That was like my favorite place to hang when I was here. So I go have some coffee. The gentleman would chat me up when they weren't busy. It was just the coolest thing. But I'm gonna get on to coffee. Oh, this is so cool. Grass looks amazing. Last time I was here, the field grass looked amazing, but about here, I'm going off memory, but I think about here back, it started just to get, untouched, and this was all super high in grass. And I remember because I was sitting at the gate, and I was watching these turtles. There were 2 turtles that lived here. And I was watching some soccer players. They looked like a high-level team, college or pro or junior pro or something, but they were running drills, and the drills were just fascinating to me that they were running, and the ball control was just, over the top insane. But it was the coolest thing sitting here watching these turtles kind of go back and forth, and they looked like a mated pair. I don't know anything about turtles, but they were still kind of playing with each other, having fun. But yeah, good memories sitting here for, I don't know, I stood here for maybe an hour watching the soccer and the turtles. I was just, amazed by the ball control. And when you see, players at that level just joking around, having fun, and then as soon as they started their drill, it got super serious, super competitive. And then as soon as the drill was over, they were laughing and joking and having fun. And it's just, it's a blessing to glimpse that level of expertise and professionalism. And, I don't know footballers, soccer players, but you know, I don't know who they were, what they were, but they had that aura or air about them like they were pros, and their ball handling skills definitely, to my eyes, looked pro. So I don't know, but that's the story I'm going with. Anyway, I'm gonna go get some coffee. So I was trying to figure out what to do today, and I figured I'd just sit back and relax. When was the last time I just sat back and relaxed? All right, I had some ice cream. Oh, look at that. Some ice cream, espresso and water delivered. But yeah, I was thinking to myself, when was the last time I just sat back and relaxed? And shit, it was maybe last week. But, you know, there's a half dozen things I could do here in Pogradec. They're on my to-do list eventually, and I'll get around to it sometime in this lifetime. But I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at these grooves in the water, right? Let me see. I don't want to drop my camera. I'm not sure they're coming through. I can barely see them. Yeah, you should be able to see them on the screen there. So I'm looking at them, and they look too uniform to be current. Ooh, a fly got dunked right there. But they look too uniform. And then finally, right over here, I saw what's making them, and it looks like, I don't know what it is from here. It looks like a hermit crab, but he's just cruising along right below that other fly that got dunked in the water. And he's just cruising along, making a path in the sand right there. I don't know how close my finger is. I can't see the screen. So I'm just kind of shooting in the blind, but he's over there. Just past this line, so he should be right out there somewhere. Yeah, with the screen, I don't even know if I'll be able to see it, but there he is. He's making a trail. And I have no idea what it is, whether it's a crab of some sort or a worm or a snail. But he's carving all these trails out here in the sand. And the interesting thing is, they all seem to be going back and forth, right? They all seem to be, I mean, there's a couple of zigs and zags here, but they all seem to be parallel to the shore and also parallel to the sun. So I don't know what's driving this guy to make all these lines that are parallel to the shore and parallel to the sun, and not a lot of crisscross, but it is interesting, right? Maybe I'll bust out my stick and get a zoom in on him in a little bit, but right now I'm gonna work on my ice cream. I haven't had anything to eat all day. I had a few nuts. It's like 2 o'clock, and I came out here because they used to do a good pizza. I'm not really into pizza at the moment, but I don't know. I just want to sit and relax and chill, and this was like one of the best seats, right? So anyway, see you, bye. Should we save a dragonfly? He looks savable. He, I don't know, but I don't know. Let's see if we can save a dragonfly. Sure, that's the exoskeleton. He just crawled out. And this is our freshly born dragonfly. Just guessing, but that's what it looks like to me. This guy's doesn't have his land legs at all. Very shy about the movement. And very shy about everything. Very docile. Probably freezing cold, struggling to get some energy going. Hopefully, I see a spider web there. So hopefully a spider doesn't come up and eat them, but regardless, it's a pretty green, beautiful green. Matches that plant perfect, right? Yeah, I just saw him sitting there floating. I lost the exoskeleton again. Oh, it's way out there now. It's way out there. But I was sitting here enjoying my coffee, saw him out there floating. I saw some life in him. Should try and get him some sunshine, I think maybe. I'll let him sit there, see how he does. Maybe I'll move into some sunshine in a little bit. But I enjoyed my ice cream, vanilla, and it was definitely like homemade with real cream. It wasn't any of that nasty garbage gunk you get. It was fabulous. So the gentleman I was talking to said that he thinks that's, translation was a little mixed up, but like a mussel or a clam or something. Born and raised here, but yeah, we'll see. I'm sitting there watching that creepy crawly crawl across the bottom of the sand, and I'm looking at other tracks, and it looks like there's some where there's a little mound. They do like a circle in the mound, and others look like they burrowed down and there's a little bump. But those are all too far for the camera, they're farther out. But we'll see if that dragonfly can come to life or if he's had it. Is that another one? Well, that's funny because he was floating in the water and he's got an ant on him from the water. That's an empty exoskeleton. Sorry, I'm not a fan of ants. They can go back in the water. Yep, that's empty. Another dragonfly but was born. Just an empty exoskeleton. And there's one the way it's supposed to happen. They crawl up out of the water, they dry off, and then they take flight. That's if I remember my grade school biology or whatever. Let's try to get one more. He's too far away. Drowning. Look at that. We saved him.
Yeah.
Very good. It's like the fourth one I've seen. I don't know where they're coming from, but. Yeah, you can see he just came out of that exoskeleton. He's having a hard time with his legs. He was a water creature until a little bit ago. Look how they turn their head. They're so amazing. One of my favorite bugs. I used to be a bug geek when I was a little kid. These are one of my favorites. I was in a place called Hunter Liggett, California, and I had a big dragonfly like this land on my hand. Just like that, but he landed. It was so cool. They were so unaware of humans there. I'm going to put him over here in the sun, let him perk up a little faster. Put them on this bush right here. Watch this. There, you should dry out in the sun a little bit quicker. Yeah, I was just feeling how cold the my GoPro stick is, and there's no way that guy's going to survive there. So I'm going to bring him over here. I see I want to put him here, but I see a giant spider web. So let's come over here, try and get this guy some sun without the big spider. I don't see any big spiders here. But see if he can't move at all. He's just barely clinging to life. He's so fragile. So hopefully that sunshine will wake him up a little bit. He is gorgeous though. Did you see this guy come flying in, wants the attention? Just came screaming in out of nowhere, wants some attention. Saw the camera and had to get in front of it. But yeah, that is one beautiful dragonfly. Hopefully he survives. We'll see. Actually, I won't see, but hopefully he survives. So this whole bush is full of spiders. I didn't see. There's a spider web right there, like that. It's really pretty, but I'm gonna get one last shot of him because he's so pretty. He's still warming up. I can't believe how cold that water is. It's amazingly cold, but he's still not moving. But we gave him the best chance to survive. There's another one right there that's about to die. So I can't save them all, but it is a shame. Oh shit, there he went. I hope he lands somewhere. Oh, he's trying to make it to land. I think he's going to make it. He's halfway there. I know you can't see that, but I do. I was just going to try and put some backing so I could see him better in the camera. Now I'm kind of wanting to save this one too. I may do one more. He's drifting right towards me. I paid and I was leaving, but... Let's see if we can't get this one. He's just out of reach. Oh, almost. Hold on, buddy. Hold on. Yeah, I'm just a softie. I don't know if this guy will make it. His wings are kind of messed up. But he is walking a lot better than the other two were. So we'll see. Doesn't help at all. Anyway, I gotta get going. It's hard. I don't know where they're all coming from, but I see another one out there drifting towards the edge. And I know it's nature, but I'm just a softie. Oh yeah, look at this guy. He's got his wings out, spread out like a pro hunter. You can see the wings are clearing up. They were a little cloudy, but he's got that wings out like a hunter. These guys are so cool. Dragonflies are so cool. But yeah, it's hard for me because, like, I'm a kid, right? I could sit here all day and fish them out of the water. I see another one out there. So, just a kid. But I don't know where they're all coming from, but they're drifting this way from somewhere. It's interesting. There's no clam marks in this algae patch. There are some bulges there, like they buried themselves. But, yep. What a beautiful guy. I'm gonna wander on, stop saving dragonflies for the day, but it is something I could do all day. It's funny, but right there's a big school of fish just sitting in the rocks. Just tiny little fish, but you can barely see them because of the rocks. Look, there's a ton of things about this city. They're just beautiful, just amazing. And this kind of sums it all up for me right here. You know, the fact that somebody took to make this piece of art. I was saying the fact that somebody took their time to make that piece of art in the park was, you know, so funny because this little toddler had the same idea, and he walks out there to pet one of the flowers. And obviously I cut my camera off, but it's just, you know, and I find it all over the world, all over Albania, but you know, you find little magical spots that just seem different, right? Seem unique, seem special. And this spot in Albania is one of them. You know, and it's a bigger here. The spot of, you know, it's just bigger. It's just bigger. You know, even this tree, it's blooming early ahead of everything else. This whole area, these are all roses. And so when these all pop, and they were probably 3 times that height when I was here last. You know, they were like above my waist. Now they're below my knee. And it's just incredibly magical. Just incredibly magical. But there's just something about it. Of course, we got the Albanian flag flying there. And it's just, you know, there's just something about this place in Albania. Let's look at this one here. And this is more for me right now. I want to get this on camera because I think it's beautiful. They've got these steps around. But look, they took driftwood and put it around a steel drum and then put a beautiful plant in the middle. And again, this is, you know, very, very early in spring. So wait till that blooms. The olive tree over there going good. Some I don't know, evergreens, but yeah, this place is just so beautiful. And there's the barrel. But yeah, oh, mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are everywhere. But yeah, it's just one of those things, man. I just love finding places like this. And like I said, here in Pogradec, the whole like downtown city area is just where lakefront area. It's not just one small little pocket or one small little park. It's kilometers, you know, that are just magical. I don't really have a good word for it, so that's the word I'm using. And like it or not, comment below what your opinions are. I'm all about hearing other opinions. But yeah, so these are on the top row. That's all roses. So imagine this ringed in roses. It's just gorgeous. So here's an important little map. Usually they have a QR code, but this is important information right there. 128, 127, and 129. And that's the website you want to find out more details. I haven't been to this website. I've been to the one for Saranda, and I'm not sure if the one I was on was about Triana or not, but these websites, they translate to English, so it's super useful. So yellow is historical sites, so if you're into history, those are the 2 sites you want to go check out. And then up here, some monumental culture and monument nature. There's a red one, Tutu Kent. I think that's so monument. I think right under the A is something special. Not sure. Yeah, I was just walking around thinking about a bunch of things, and one thing occurred to me if you're genuinely trying to come to if you're genuinely trying to come to Albania and understand things, after talking to a lot of people, there's three things I would do the first week in Albania. Is I talked about an ideal trip to the Philippines, but Albania is different in that the culture is got a lot of nuance, a whole lot of nuance. English speakers are not everywhere, but they're prevalent enough, especially in the tourist areas. But the culture is a little, there's some specifics that you'd want to be aware of. So what I would do, if I had friends coming to Albania, or people were asking me my opinion, 'cause that's all this is. It's an opinion of an old guy with some gray hair, camera, and too much time to think. I would say spend a good 3 days in Tirana. As soon as you get here, get a decent hotel, get lots of good sleep, get lots of good rest, all those things I talk about. Find some local food, and then I would go to the History of Natural Museum. I would go up the hill to the Daci, ride the Daci Express up the hill, and I would go to the Bunk Art, and then I would go to the name just slipped out of my head, the Spy Museum. So if you go to Bunk Art 2, that's on the way up the hill to Daci Express. It's right up by that cable car. But Bunk Art 1 and the Spy Museum you can do in the same day. You can do natural history in the same day too, but I would give a break so you're able to process all those things, because if you see them all at once, it's all just going to be a blur. You're going to forget a ton of things. But if you're separate those by one day, or two on one day and then another. But the Natural Museum, or the museum downtown right on Skanderbeg Square, they're all right there at Skanderbeg Square. And then you can go to the park and all these other things. There's a lot of great things to do. Statue hunt, graffiti. There's some great, or wall art. I guess not really graffiti, it's all up high. Run around hunting wall art is just another fun thing to do in Tirana, and check out all the colored buildings and stuff. But those three things I think would give you a good perspective on the little nuances I've noticed in the culture that are not readily aware. There's not a large awareness of this stuff. There's not a large understanding of it by foreigners. But especially the Bunk Art and that Spy Museum. And then there's another park down there on the way to Mother Teresa Square. It has some of the arches from the mines. It's got a piece of the Berlin Wall, and then it's got a couple bunkers in there. And it can really help adjust your thinking to what's ingrained in the culture, because it's not just something people went through. These are things that are ingrained in the culture. They're woven into the fabric of the culture. From my perspective as a tourist, as somebody who's visited here a while, I'm not Albanian, I'm not an expert. My best friend's not Albanian. I'm just telling you what I've experienced. Those things are woven into the culture, and understanding them, really brings a whole different context to a lot of things, especially conversations with locals. But there's a reason this is one of my favorite countries. There's a reason. I would put this top 3 or 4 right now, my favorite countries, and a lot of people would be surprised about that list if I ever publish it or make a video. Okay, it's kind of midday here in Pogradec, and these statues, I don't know, for some reason they were like one of the first things I saw when I got here. That really just kind of, you head down this winding path through the trees. It's really just a cool thing. So I wanted to kind of take a minute, and while the traffic is low, because boy, this place gets so busy, so busy. It's hard to, with the trees and the sun, it's hard to get good photos of these without putting a lot of time and effort into planning, or a lot more time and effort than I'm interested in. And the last one's over here. I just love these, though, the way they set up this windy path. And I don't know what it is, call me crazy, but I like walking on stones. For some reason, it just, strange, I don't understand it. I'm not going to try to understand it. But it is what it is. Yeah, those 3 statues, they're right there at the corner when I came out of the apartment I had. They're right there at the corner when I came out of the apartment I had, and just always struck a chord with me, the way they're tucked into the trees, and it's nice and quiet and relaxed in the midst of tons and tons of people. So it is what it is. Look at this lake. If this doesn't have a magnetic pull to you, go get your soul checked. Yes, there's just something about this lake that is magnetic. It's just beautiful. And look how serene it is. Imagine being out there in the middle. What are you going to hear? Nothing. Nothing. You're going to hear nothing. Just don't fall overboard, because I don't think you'll ever find the bottom. So I'm going for these ravioli imperial. I don't know why, they just look yummy to me. I've been craving spinach. So I'm going to answer that craving with a little raviolis and pomegranate thrown in there. Sounds yummy. That is a pretty clever placemat. So you got the QR code, Insta, Facebook, and QR code. Oh, and tells you what goes where. Pretty cool. Whoops, forgot to show you the raviolis. They were so tasty. That's the restaurant. And yeah, I mean, they do pizza mainly, obviously, but raviolis were great. All the fun stuff was on the outside, so they're basically a spinach ravioli with, oh, excuse me, sorry. So they were basically a spinach ravioli with all the fun, tasty stuff on the outside, which was great. I loved it. So I'm not sure I'll ever have time to come back, but I wouldn't hesitate to come back. Yeah. Well, that, my friends, is the Matterhorn. There's a beautiful lake. I missed sunset again tonight. Still a little color in the sky, but it's just a beautiful night. Down at the, you can't see it, there's a restaurant between us, but there's another little play area for the little kids. This is more like the, I don't know, 6 to 8, maybe 10. The other one's more for like the toddlers. It's got a little merry-go train and stuff, but man, there's just something about this place, you know. The problem is every place in Albania, I think you got to try every place. Like, it's just, once you go to places like this, you see something so special, you get a feeling. There's just so many, and I've only scratched the surface. That's the frustrating thing, is, you know, there's like 3 dozen places on my to-do list in Albania, you know, and I could spend a year and not touch them all, just because I'm slow and I'm, you know, lazy at times. Like today, I didn't do anything but walk around, had some coffee, had an ice cream about 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock. I saved some dragonflies. I watched some clams draw some lines in the sand. And that was pretty much my day. Like, pretty much all I did today. Got some sun and just decompressed. Problem is, I don't know what I was really decompressing from. But, you know, hey, why argue with it, right? Why fight it? So I'm gonna call this a wrap on day 2 of the Because I'm Bored bus tour. And, you know, it is what it is, but this has been a fabulous day too. I really enjoyed myself. Just no pressure to do anything. Just sat back and enjoyed, right? Just sat back and relaxed. I had some raviolis, so I had some ice cream and coffee. I had coffee, and then more coffee, and then more coffee. And I finally ate some ice cream, and it was real ice cream. Like, you could taste the real cream. And then I had some raviolis, and then I just had a couple cups of coffee. A little hyper, like too much coffee today. I need to really think about cutting back on my coffee, and the mosquitoes. 2 things I need to cut back on, coffee and mosquitoes. But I did save 3 dragonflies. So I don't know what you did today. It's probably something way more fabulous, but hey, I saved 3 dragonflies, and that was a challenging day for me. I got my hands wet. You know, I don't know. Hope you come back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm on the bus again. It should be a short bus ride, but at the end of the ride should be worth the time and energy to get there. So yeah, come back and check it out if you want. If not, I appreciate that too, and I hope you have a great day. If I don't bring value to your time, find somebody who does. Don't waste your time on me if I don't bring you value. See you, bye. These horses are so cute. They're out here keeping the grass down for everyone. I assume they're horses. I don't know if they may be donkeys or mules. I wouldn't know the difference. But I am in Pogradec, and I'm headed back to the barn, the room, whatever you want to call it. Boy, super night mode is really bright, amazingly bright. So I'm in the process of editing a bunch of videos I took a while ago, and the interesting part about them is I was on my way to Pogradec. I had it all planned out. I was going to jump a bus from Tirana, come up here. I was waiting on my passport, and I didn't know how long the passport would take, so I was making plans for it to take a lot longer than it actually did, and I wasn't sure what to do. I was kind of bored. I was sitting around Tirana, and I wasn't really doing anything. I'm like, let me jump up to Pogradec and, you know, poke around there for a few days. And then I got an email to come pick up my passport. It was under 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. Got my passport in Tirana. I was stunned. So I went and picked up my passport, and then I saw, you know, when I was online reading the email, I saw there's flights to Poland for $40. So what did I do? I booked to Poland, right? Why not? So I'm in the process of editing these videos, and when I went to Poland, I strung together a trip. I entered Poland and left Romania. I wanted my first stamp to be Albania. I wanted the first stamp of my brand new passport to be Albania. But Albania doesn't stamp your passport. I've asked many times. I've been here many times, even at the little ports, even at the little stations. I don't even think they have stamps. I don't even think they make a stamp. They just check you in, you're in their system, and you're good to go. So I was very disappointed about that. But second alternative was Poland and Romania, my first 2 stamps, my new passport. So I know, childish little shit like that, you know, it's fun to me, right? It's fun to me. It's not some boring country like Mexico. But the funny thing is Poland, you know, as much as I love them, they do have a little attitude, right? And they always stamp the back page. They go to the back page and stamp it. So I'm sitting there in Romania, and the guy's sitting there going through my passport. He can't find a stamp because I got the thick book because I plan on filling it. And it was just the funniest thing. I had to point him to the back page, and then he found it, stamped to me. But it was the funniest thing. He's sitting there getting frustrated, trying to figure out how I have a passport with no stamps, and I'm in Romania. But it is what it is. So I'm in the process of editing these videos, and I think I lost my first day. But I'm getting better at the whole daily files. I'm getting better at recording less bullshit and more just what I want to record. So hopefully it'll go a little quicker and they'll actually come out. I'm getting better at calling and deleting and all that fun stuff. But it's just funny, the time to sit down and watch these videos like 4 or 5 times, you're like, ah. The other thing about this video series coming up is it's just a lot of train rides and bus rides. So this trip, there's a bunch of places I wanted to go and a bunch of, I like to ride the bus and the train so I can actually see the countryside. I can, and I don't like to drive. So I took the opportunity to take some long bus and train rides and enjoy the countryside, see areas I hadn't been before, and I really enjoyed that. So that's what this trip is mainly about. A bunch of hotels, a bunch of train rides, a couple quick walks through a couple cities, but they're all places I've been before with a few exceptions, and so it should be a pretty boring series. But minus the hotels, which I kind of splurged on, you'd be very surprised what the overall trip, the daily tally of expenditures was. It was really low because cheap bus rides, cheap plane tickets, all about the cheap travel, right? Now the hotels I did spend a little more money on, but I got some amazing deals. I was getting, top tier hotels at basement rates. I probably won't share those, to be honest with you, just because they were such good deals. But you can go search out those hotels and probably get similar rates if you're as flexible as I am and work the system like I do. Just look for the cheap rates, look for the cheap transportation times, and go when it's cheap, not when it's convenient for you. That's probably the most reliable cheap travel hack I've ever come across is, go when it's cheap, not when it's convenient. Save you a ton of money, Anyway, I'm gonna hit this urban trail here, do a little 4x4 in up the road. I think this is the right one, hope it's the right one, and get some sleep. Y'all have a great day.